So if New Zealand move Ian Foster on, is this the plan that could get the All Blacks World Cup campaign back on track? And I thought you were going to score.
Ask a better question, you get a better answer.
Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to have some fun, talk about a hypothetical situation. Love to know your thoughts on it. You don't have to take it too seriously if you don't like it. We're just stimulating debate here. But this is something I've been thinking about for a while and a possible direction I think that New Zealand could go. So let's talk about the situation as it stands now. Foster's way seems to be running the ball from anywhere, lots of interplay, which in theory is fine. The All Blacks have been doing that sort of thing for a long time, except it's being done from a position of weakness at the moment, a fairly shaky set piece, the direct runners not having the threat maybe they have in the past. There's been few periods where the All Blacks have actually built concerted pressure over time, possession especially, and other sides are outcompeting them at the breakdown. And of course, sides know this is coming now. They know the physical threat isn't quite there, the set-piece threat isn't quite there, so they're looking for all this handling, this wraparounds, this clever interplay, and it's just not working. They're not getting fixed. And to compound this issue, because it's not working, the pressure's starting to build on the New Zealand players. They're forcing things, they're making more handling errors than normal, and it's all snowballing from there. Now, one way to turn this around is just to give Foster more time for them to try harder, to try and work it out themselves. Or you go for a hard reset with about a year to go before the World Cup and get Scott Robertson in, Razor in to try and sort it out. Now, if he was to do this, what do I think he could do? I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, I'm just saying these are the things that maybe he could do. First of all, they've got to set out a base, a really intimidating pack with solid set piece, nasty ball carriers, ruck clears, all that sort of thing, good kick chase, all the basics, and then on top of it, then add the intricacies, the innovation, the handling, but only once that base is established. Now, what sort of players could he build this upon? Now, this hypothetical I'm basing on everyone being fit, which hasn't been the case for Foster, that is absolutely certain. But what sort of pack especially could he build this around? Now, no doubt being a very successful Crusaders coach himself, I think he might well build his pack around Crusaders, his team around Crusaders, not to the extent that maybe Ireland build their team around Leinster, but certainly a solid core. So let's go for it, let's have some fun. Here's the front row I think maybe he could go for. At loosehead, Joe Moody, the veteran returns. Yes, he's had a nasty knee injury, but he should be back in time for the World Cup. Maybe you could come in and solidify that scrum with George Bower, his understudy, on the bench. A nice 1-2 there. The priority in this front row is set piece, is the scrum, is not getting pushed around. I think Takiaho is the number 1, number 2 at the moment. Taylor and Coles have both fallen off a bit, but I'm going to let Cody Taylor come on as an impact sub. Let's say he gets rejuvenated. Him as an impact with the big Takiaho starting, I think could be a way to go. Tight head, a little bit of a tricky call. I'm going to go all in on Fletcher Newell. Yes, he's only 22. He's only played a handful of games for the Crusaders already, but around 130 kg, one of the strongest players they say they've ever brought through the ranks. He could be a great, it's a bit of a punt, but I think it's worth a go. And then on the bench, another future of the tight head position, Ethan de Groot. So that 1-2 punch could be fantastic. Yes, like I said, it's a little bit of a punt. We don't quite know how it's going to go, but I think that front row is a very solid front row that's not going to get pushed around. The second row is tricky. There's some youngsters kicking around. Josh Lord, Tupu Vaa'i. Are they quite ready? I'm not quite sure. If we're going to go for some big chunky second rows for that front five to make sure that scrum is rock solid, I think we stick with Brodie Retallick. His height in the line out, at his best, he can be really nasty. And at 5, I'm going to move Sam Whitelock on, even though he's an All Black great, he's got fantastic skills. Physically, is he having the impact he once was? I'm not so sure. I'm going to bring in Patrick Tuipulotu, a big lump there at 5 behind the tight head, just to make sure that scrum is absolutely rock solid. And Scott Barrett on the bench, I think, could be the perfect second row and hard man blindside substitute. So those are the 3 I'm bringing in. Now at blindside, I see Scott Robertson maybe bringing in his Crusader, Ethan Blackadder. back from injury hopefully soon. He's a hard man, a real nasty guy, get stuck in there, smash tackles, big carries, just do the graft. Kano-esque, you could say. Frizzell's another option for sure. Scott Barrett, I said, is on the bench already, who could be a like-for-like swap as well for Blackadder. Plus he can play 8. I see him as an absolutely core man for this hard man pack. Now, who do I think they bring in an open side? At the moment, it's Sam Cane, who's their captain. I'm going to put Ardy Surveyor there. I still say he's the best loose forward in the world. It's not that he's a great number 8. He absolutely is. I just think he's an even better number 7. And if we're getting some of these piano shifters in to do some of the hard work, let's release Ardy Surveyor at 7. Release him from a bit of those duties, just carrying the ball up, etc. Let him just do what he wants, get around the pitch, be a nuisance. He could absolutely be the best 7 in the world if released to do so. On the bench, I think Dalton Papali'i is his understudy. Sam Cane's still a very good 7, but behind these two in my opinion. So yeah, Ardy Surveyor, star man and captain, inspirational captain at 7. A lot of the hard work taken away from him. Let him be fantastic. Now at number 8, a bit of a shock selection maybe, but another young Crusader, Cullen Grace comes in. He's 22, 6'4". I think he could bulk up quite easily to over 17 stone in time for the World Cup. Him alongside clubmate Blackadder are an intimidating set of loose forwards there, along with Ardy Surveyor at 7. I think that could be a winning combo. I really like Hoskins Satutu as a really exciting ball-playing number 8, but for this type of pack, I'm going for Grace. Again, it's a bit of a punt. We don't know how he will go because he's only really burst onto the scene, but I think for me, it's got a lot of potential. Now, scrum half is really tricky. Aaron Smith still offers a lot. He's a fine player. But I think you go to the 2 form 9s of this year. Finlay Christie starting, Brad Webber on the bench. You could mix it around. I think Fakatava's got a lot to offer. Perinara may come back into it, but I'm going for the slightly younger Christie to start. Brad Webber on the bench. It's a little bit of a coin toss, but I'm going that way. Let me know what you would do. At 10, Richie Mwanga and Bowden Barrett have been slugging it out for a couple of seasons now. Barrett is still playing very well. He's world class. I love watching him, probably my favourite player to watch. But in this team that's built around that Crusaders mould, I think we go Richie Mwanga at 10. On the bench, I'm bringing back Damien McKenzie. I think he could come in and play 10 as well as a couple of other players in this squad. So Richie Mwanga pulling the strings, being the conductor, letting everyone operate around him and also playing his tactical kicking game. Now with the centres, I've actually prioritised defence and being really hard to beat. I still think there's attacking potential in them, but I'm making a change at centres. I'm bringing back the 2019 combination of Anton Leonard-Brown and Jack Goodhue. Leonard-Brown, 27, Goodhue the same. They're in the right age bracket. They're coming back from injury. Leonard-Brown's a classy all-rounder, really good defensive leader. Plus he's a good ball player as well. I can see him operating nicely in at 12. I know he's played a lot of 13 as well. At 13, it's another Crusader, Jack Goodhue. He's a big physical specimen, really good defender. Maybe he needs to improve his attacking lines a little bit, but I think he's got that in him. So I think that's a very solid midfield, very hard to beat. So let's talk about the back three. Now onto the wings, I have moved Rieko Ioane back out to the wing. He's only 25 years old. He's played very well at centre and credit to him, his transition to outside centre has been successful. Many thought he wouldn't, so credit to him. He should be a more all-round player for that, but he certainly used to be one of the best finishers in world rugby, and at 25 he absolutely can be again. So in this team, he moves out to the wing, and I also stick with Will Jordan at 24, another Crusader. I think he's got the potential to be a world-class operator. Yes, fullback's probably his best position, and he probably will move there at some point, but you need 2 fullbacks in any back three these days anyway, so he's on the wing for me. Now you could argue this team's missing a little bit of power from the likes of Clark and Fainganuku, and maybe that is a fair point, but this is the way I'm going. Now at fullback, a really tricky call, but I'm going Bowden Barrett. For me, he's just too good not to start. It's not happening for him at 10, but at 15 he can insert himself where he wants. His counter-attack is possibly the best in the world. On the bench, Damien McKenzie could do a similar job coming on, being a playmaking spark at 15, or McKenzie could play 10. I've also got Geordie Barrett on the bench if you want some height in your back three. Barrett could go to 12, Rieko Ioane could go to 13, so I think there's plenty of cover there. Anyway, guys, that's my rescue plan. Razor to the rescue. This is the team he could go with. It's a bit of fun, but let me know what you think of that. Do you like the plan? Would you tweak it? Or would you do something completely different? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you next time.